Okay, so today we are going to talk about physical and chemical properties and changes. So, all matter has physical and chemical properties. Now, physical properties are characteristics that can be observed without changing its identity. So, if you can observe this scenario and that observation does not change what the thing is, then it's a physical property. Examples can be color, so you observe its color, you're observing its shape, observing and calculating its density, figuring out its melting point, its odor, seeing how it smells, its hardness, so how hard it is, what volume it has, and the boiling point. And there's so many other different examples as well. Now, on the other hand, chemical properties are characteristics that can be observed with changes in identity. So if a certain scenario is an observation, but there is going to be a change in what it is, it's going to be a chemical property. And examples are flammability. Does it burn? Right? When you burn something, it's a different substance now. You can't get that back. Reactivity. Let's see if it reacts with something. If it reacts with something, you can't get it back. And solubility, which is dissolves. So I want to see if this dissolves in water. If it does, can you get that back? No. Now, both properties are a form of observations. So just key note for physical and chemical properties, they're observations. Now, next, all matter can go through physical and chemical changes. Now, a physical change is when there's a change in size, shape, or form, states of matter, without changing its identity. So if you're analyzing a scenario and there's a change going on of some sort, but it doesn't change what the actual thing is, it's a physical change. Now, physical change can break up mixtures. And examples of physical change is like exploding a watermelon, right? You start from a big watermelon to smaller pieces of watermelon, but they're still watermelon. Cutting an apple, you have one whole apple, you cut it, it's still an apple, but you're changing its size and shape. Cutting paper, still paper, so the same exact paper, it's just smaller in different shapes. Chopping wood, still wood, just smaller pieces. Breaking glass, it's still the glass, it's just in smaller pieces. On the other hand, a chemical change is when there's a change from one substance to another. Now, this is when there is a change in identity. And chemical change can only break up compounds. So examples are precipitations form, so a solids form. So if you combine two things together, something happens, solid forms, it's a chemical change. If there's a color change of some sort, gases produced bubbles, and temperature change, meaning hot or cold. Now, both changes are a form of processes. Now, here are steps you should take to determine if a scenario is physical property, chemical property, physical change, or chemical change. Number one is you're going to determine if the scenario is an observation or a process. Is that scenario, are you observing something or is something happening? Now, if it's an observation, it's going to be a property. And if it's a process, if something's happening, it's a change. Then you're going to determine if the identity changes or not. Now, if there's no change at all, it's still the same thing, it's physical. But if there is a change, it's different now, it's a chemical. So just remember, physical property is an observation with no change. Chemical property is an observation with change. Chemical change is a process with no change. And chemical change is a process with change. And that's it.